Rimuru goes to Naruto Verse by manga-nirvana ch 16 Death of Hiruzen. Meanwhile, Orochimaru begins his battle with his former sensei, the third Hokage, and Velgrind, who sneaks in with the Hokage. Velgrind then used her flame style along with Lord Hokage to put pressure on Orochimaru. Seeing the ability of young Konichi, Orochimaru uses the forbidden technique summoning. Impure world reincarnation. Summons the first Hokage and second Hokage from the dead to fight the third and Velgrind. Meanwhile, Rimuru and Guy begin using their respective adamantine chains to fight each other, which causes the Rimuru barrier to break. Rimuru, now frustrated by the Guy's actions, starts pulling the 100 chains to bind the Guy. To which Guy also jumps up and uses his chains, causing mass explosions everywhere. Just like Enkidu vs Gilgamesh from Fate. Skip to the time frame of 1.15 seconds to the end. It is the best version I can find. For the conversation, here we go. Rimuru. Looks like someone has brought the dead to life. Guy. It must be Orochimaru. He has an ability called Forbidden Technique Summoning. Impure World Reincarnation. It is a cheap knockoff Masayuki hero summoning technique. Rimuru. I am sure Velgrind would kill that guy if he used this ability in front of him. Guy. Hey, focus on me, you selfish bastard. I waited for 1 month for this fight. Rimuru. Okay, got it. After the huge clash, Rimuru then used his physical strength to punch Guy. But Guy countered it and used Skethmet's ability to transform into a shadow and give Rimuru an uppercut punch. Early in the battle, Orochimaru, Velgrind and Lord Hokage both display powerful techniques in what the observing Enbu describes as a cage-level battle. But there is one big problem, and that is the young Koinichi, who is easily able to protect Lord Third from Orochimaru and can keep up the pace to perfectly adapt to battle. Even previous Hokage was impressed by her fire style, which is a perfect counter to Second Lord. Meanwhile, the fight between the third Hokage and the reincarnated first and second Hokage, controlled by Orochimaru, is about to begin. The risen Hokage apologizes to their former student as Orochimaru prepares them for combat in a more serious way, so they will remove the variables in the fight. All three Hokages exchange varying elemental attacks. To help himself in the uneven fight, the third Hokage summons Monkey King Enma and has him transform into a staff, while Velgrind summons Zero to the battlefield. In response, Orochimaru brings out his Kusanagi sword. Orochimaru then peels his face off and reveals the face of a girl, shocking the third Hokage, who expresses surprise that Orochimaru has mastered another forbidden technique. While Velgrind felt disgust toward Orochimaru, who is a goddamn cockroach, she used wind-style Divine Wind with a combination of Zero fire-style Running Fire. This generates a strong fire released toward Orochimaru and the two Hokages, burning them. But she and Hiruzen discover that the first and second Hokage can't be damaged by using ninjutsu in their present state, which pissed her off as it's a cheap knockoff of Masayuki's ability. The third repelled the first Hokage wood style and told Velgrind to keep distracting the two Hokages so he could seal them away. To this statement, Velgrind thought that if sealing was the only way, then her sister had strong sealing ability. She told Hokage that they needed to generate enough power to break the barrier, even though it prevented the destruction of the village, but they needed outside help. But all three Hokage refused that idea immediately and told her that the Lord's first jutsu would be strong if he could expand more. Currently he could not expand outside the barrier. They may be at a disadvantage, but it is still in a manageable range. At this, Orochimaru laughs and shows the third Hokage the fruits of his quest to gain immortality. Peeling away his burnt face, Orochimaru reveals the face of a girl whose body he has taken. Orochimaru's key to living forever is to take the bodies of others to extend his lifespan, and he reveals his intentions of stealing the body of Sasuke Uchiha to use as his new body. The third Hokage regrets not killing Orochimaru years before when he had the chance. Velgrind then told him not to regret his actions, as he gave Orochimaru a chance to live or change his life, but he has made his choice to die, so stop regretting and do what must be done. Finally ready to take down Orochimaru, the third Hokage musters up his chakra, summons shadow clones and uses the remaining chakra to perform the fourth Hokage's forbidden jutsu, the Dead Demon Consuming Seal. Despite the second Hokage using a genjutsu that causes complete darkness, the third Hokage manages to hold on. Seeing this action of Lord Hokage, Velgrind thought that his life force was drawing too fast, and at this rate, he would die soon. She then started focusing all her chakra in her hands so she could destroy the barrier and call Rimuru here. Orochimaru claims that he will destroy Konoha just as he will destroy the third Hokage. The third states that the Hokage that succeeds him will continue to be the pillar of Konoha and protect the village. He then remembers the past and current inhabitants of Konoha that he fights to protect. With that, the third rushes forward to begin his attack. He uses his staff to push himself forward and starts fighting with Orochimaru one-on-one. Even with his old age, Hiruzen can still keep up with Orochimaru's sword style and his snake-like flexibility. He notices that Rimuru is fighting a very strong opponent who has just broken his adamantine chain and now destroying the village. Meanwhile, Velgrand is using her enhanced chakra punch to break the barrier, which is working as 4 ninjas are coughing up blood from the drain of chakra. Back to Rimuru and Guy, they continue fighting and now destroying a small part of Konoha. In this fight, Quetzalcoatl is Guy with his sword and Rimuru is Enkidu. Rimuru: are you sure destroying a small portion of the village is necessary? Guy: of course, it is. It will look really good. Rimuru: fine, proceed to use his chains to capture Guy and throw him out of the village. Guy: not so easily. He used his earth style and pulled a huge earth slab and destroyed the Hokage faces. Rimuru: are you done? Can you go now? And don't come back unless you want Velzard punishment for destroying the faces she made using her earth style. Guy: oh shit, then I am leaving with Sekhmet. Meanwhile, Konoha shinobi began the counterattack on the invading forces. At the site of the third Hokage's battle with Orochimaru, Third finally catches Orochimaru off guard and finally uses the Reaper Death Seal, and starts pulling out Orochimaru's soul from his body. Even with years of research, Orochimaru had never come across this technique. To resist, he used his blade to pierce Hiruzen's heart, which Monkey King Enma caught and protected himself, while Shiro grabbed him from behind and started to bite his hand off. Velzard finally put her all in and accidentally used her cardinal acceleration, and one-shot the barrier to pieces and proceeded to fight the Sound Ninjas, and force them to retreat from their master's side toward the jungle. After a few minutes of struggle, Lord Third realizes that he doesn't have enough strength left to fully seal Orochimaru's soul, and instead opts to seal his former pupil's arms successfully to make Orochimaru unable to use any ninjutsu. Critically damaged, Orochimaru calls off the invasion and flees the village with his forces in the forest. Rimuru then came to Lord Hiruzen and tried to use his healing ability to save Hiruzen's life, but Hiruzen stopped him, telling him it too late. He wishing his student a fond farewell. The third dies after reciting one last proverb. Rimuru started crying like a little kid who lost his old dog, to which Velgrand hugs him while Seal tries to comfort his core. Rimuru, respecting his dead old man's wishes to die peacefully, decides to make the world peaceful for him and shift their EV to 225,000. Same as Orochimaru now. The next day, the ninja of Konoha mourn the deaths of those who died during the invasion, especially the third Hokage. Naruto wonders why people sacrifice themselves for others, and Iruka says that it leaves behind a legacy for others, and they are remembered forever. Rimuru was pissed at Hiruzen, who used a forbidden technique and sealed his soul. Finally, Rimuru decided to search for Orochimaru and give him a curse to live forever in this world. At the same moment, two shinobi were standing outside the village. One asks the other if he feels sorry for his old village. The other hesitates a little but eventually says, no, and moves his head up a little, revealing the eye of a Sharingan.